There are secrets that are meant to be kept, and there are doors that are never meant to be opened. We all have things we hide from the people we love. Maybe it is a past mistake. Maybe it is a hidden scar. But what if the person you sleep next to every night is hiding something that keeps them alive? What if the only thing separating your wife from the grave is a single thin piece of black thread around her neck? Welcome to today's story. This is a tale of curiosity, a tale of wicked family pressure, and a tragic lesson on why you must never force a secret out of someone before they are ready to tell you. This is the story of David, a man who loved his wife too much, and his mother, who hated her just enough to destroy everything. Sit down, turn off the lights, and listen closely. Because once this necklace is cut, there is no turning back. Our story takes place in a quiet, misty village in the eastern part of the country. It was a place where the forest was thick and the red earth was rich. In this village lived a young man named David. David was a good man. He was a farmer and a hunter, strong and hardworking. But David was lonely. All his friends were married with children, but he had not yet found a wife. The girls in his village did not move his heart. One rainy evening, while returning from the market in the next town, David saw her. She was standing under a large iroko tree, seeking shelter from the heavy downpour. She was shivering, her clothes soaked through. David stopped his motorcycle. He had never seen beauty like this before. Her skin was smooth like polished ebony. Her eyes were large and innocent, like a deer caught in headlights. David offered her a ride, and she accepted. Her name was Sarah. She told him she had no family. She said she came from a village far away, across 7 rivers, a village that had been destroyed by war. She was a stranger, a wanderer with no past. David fell in love instantly. It was the kind of love that makes a man blind. Within 3 months, he proposed. Within 4 months, they were married. Sarah was a perfect wife. She was kind, she was respectful, and she cooked soups that made the neighbors jealous. But Sarah had one strange rule, one peculiar habit that David could not understand. She always wore a necklace. It was a simple black velvet ribbon, tied tightly around her neck, with a small strange green stone in the center. She never took it off. Not when she cooked, not when she bathed, not when she slept. It was always there, stark black against her dark skin. In the beginning, David thought it was just fashion, or perhaps a sentimental gift from her lost parents. He would tease her, touching the ribbon gently. "Sarah, why do you love this old thing so much? Let me buy you gold. Let me buy you coral beads." But Sarah would pull away, her eyes filled with a sudden intense fear. "No, David," she would whisper, clutching the ribbon. "Please, never ask me to remove it. It is the only thing I have left of my past. It is my life. Promise me you will never touch it." David, being a man in love, promised. "Okay, my love. I will not touch it." And for a year they lived in peace. But peace in a village is like mist in the morning. It disappears when the sun rises. The sun, in this case, was David's mother, Mama Beatrice. Mama Beatrice was a woman who was feared in the village. She was loud, she was controlling, and she was deeply superstitious. She did not like Sarah. She did not trust strangers. From the moment David brought Sarah home, Mama Beatrice looked at her with suspicion. "Who is she?" Mama Beatrice asked. "Where are her people? Why does she have no family history? She is an orphan, Mama. David defended his wife. She is a good woman. But Mama Beatrice was not convinced. Mama Beatrice watched Sarah like a hawk. She watched how she walked. She watched how she cooked. And most of all, she watched that black necklace. One Sunday afternoon, Mama Beatrice came to David's house unannounced. Sarah was in the kitchen, pounding yam. The black ribbon was soaked with sweat, but still, it remained tight around her neck. Mama Beatrice sat David down on the veranda. "David," she said, her voice low and serious. "Have you noticed that your wife never exposes her neck? Have you noticed she hides behind that black rag?" "It is just a necklace, Mama," David sighed. "She likes it. It is not just a necklace." Mama Beatrice snapped, hitting her walking stick on the floor. "I have lived long in this world, David. I know signs of witchcraft when I see them. That necklace is a charm. It is a talisman." David laughed nervously. "Mama, Sarah is not a witch. She goes to church. The devil also goes to church, David," Mama Beatrice shouted. "Listen to me. That girl is hiding a mark. A witch's mark. Or maybe a snake scale. She is using that ribbon to bind you. That is why you haven't given me a grandchild yet. Her womb is tied to that necklace." The seed of doubt was planted. David tried to shake it off. But words are like weeds. Once they are planted, they grow. That night, as Sarah slept beside him, David looked at the necklace. In the moonlight, the green stone seemed to glow faintly. He wondered, for the first time, what was underneath. Was it a scar? Was it a tattoo? Was it a mark of the water spirits? He reached out his hand to touch it. Sarah flinched in her deep sleep, her hand flying up to protect her neck, even while she was dreaming. David pulled back. He felt guilty. But the curiosity began to eat him alive. Weeks passed. Mama Beatrice became more aggressive. She started spreading rumors in the market. She told the yam sellers that her son had married a mommy water, a water spirit who wore a charm to stay in human form. The villagers started looking at Sarah differently. When she walked to the stream, women would stop talking. They would stare at her neck. They would whisper. Sarah felt the hostility. She became withdrawn. She stopped smiling. "David, why does your mother hate me?" Sarah asked one night, tears streaming down her face. "What have I done?" "She doesn't hate you," David lied, turning away. She worries. Sarah, maybe if you just took off the necklace once? Just to show her there is nothing there? It would stop the rumors. Sarah sat up in bed. Her face went pale. "David, I told you. If you love me, you will not ask me that. This necklace, it holds me together. If I take it off, I will not be me anymore. Do you understand?" David didn't understand. To him, it was just a piece of fabric. How could a ribbon be so important? Her refusal only made him more suspicious. What is she hiding? He thought. Maybe Mama is right. The breaking point came a month later. Mama Beatrice fell sick. She claimed it was spiritual exhaustion from fighting the witch in her son's house. She summoned David to her hut. She lay on her bamboo bed, looking frail. "David," she wheezed, "I am dying. Your wife is sucking my life force. I can see it in my dreams. She turns into a python at night and wraps that ribbon around my throat. "Mama, please," David begged. "If you want me to live," Mama Beatrice said, sitting up with sudden strength, "you must expose her. You must cut that tie. Tonight. Do not ask her. Do not beg her. You are the man of the house." She reached under her pillow and pulled out a pair of sharp iron tailoring scissors. They glinted in the dim light of the lantern. "Take this," she commanded. "Wait until she is deep in sleep. Cut the ribbon. Break the charm. If you don't, I will die, and my blood will be on your head." David took the scissors. His hands were shaking. He loved his wife, but the fear of his mother and the pressure of the village were too heavy to bear. He walked home with the cold metal pressed against his leg. That evening, the rain was falling heavily again, just like the day he met Sarah. The thunder rattled the zinc roof. The atmosphere was heavy with electricity. Sarah cooked his favorite soup, egusi with pounded yam. She served him with a smile, but her eyes were sad. "You look troubled, husband," she said softly. "I am just tired," David mumbled. He couldn't look her in the eye. He ate silently. He watched the black ribbon move as she swallowed. It seemed to pulse with her heartbeat. They went to bed early. The rain pounded against the windows, drowning out the noise of the crickets. Sarah fell asleep quickly, exhausted from the day's work. Her breathing was deep and rhythmic. David lay awake. He stared at the ceiling. He thought about his mother's words. "She is a witch. She is binding you. Break the charm." He looked at Sarah. She looked so peaceful in her sleep, so beautiful. But the black ribbon was there, stark and mysterious. It mocked him. It held a secret that was ruining his family name. "I just need to know," David whispered to himself. "If I cut it and nothing happens, I will apologize. I will buy her a new one. But I need to know." He reached under the mattress Sarah was sleeping on and pulled out the iron scissors. They felt heavy in his hand. He sat up. He leaned over his sleeping wife. A flash of lightning illuminated the room, casting long, scary shadows on the wall. David moved the scissors closer to her neck. His heart was hammering against his ribs. Thump! Thump! He slipped the cold metal blade under the black velvet. It was tight against her skin. He had to be careful not to cut her flesh. Sarah stirred slightly. David froze. He held his breath. She settled back into sleep. "Forgive me, Sarah," David whispered. "It is for our own good." He squeezed the handles of the scissors. Snip. The sound was small. A tiny sound in the middle of the storm. The black ribbon fell apart. The green stone slid down onto the pillow. David pulled the broken ribbon away. He leaned in closer, eager to see the secret mark. He wanted to see the tattoo, the scar, the snake scale. He wanted to see the thing that had caused so much trouble. But there was no tattoo. There was no scale. For a second, David was confused. Her neck looked smooth. "See?" He thought with relief. Mama was wrong. It was nothing. But then, a thin red line appeared where the ribbon had been. It wasn't a scratch from the scissors. It was a line that went all the way around her neck. It started to widen. Sarah's eyes flew open, still lying down in her bed. She didn't scream. She couldn't. She made a horrible, wet gurgling sound. She reached up with both hands to grab her neck, But it was too late. The connection was broken. The magic that held her together was severed. David watched Sarah lying in bed in paralyzed horror as the wound opened completely. There was no blood at first, just a dark emptiness. Then Sarah's head, the beautiful face he had kissed 1,000 times, rolled to the side. It didn't fall off like a doll. It slumped, disconnected from the spine, held only by the skin at the back. "David," a voice whispered. It didn't come from her mouth. It came from the air around them. It was a voice full of infinite sadness. "I told you." "It was my life," David screamed. He scrambled backward, falling off the bed. He crashed into the wall, knocking over the lantern. The room plunged into darkness. In the dark, he could hear the sound of the body thrashing on the bed. He could hear the gasping, and then silence. When the neighbors broke down the door the next morning, alerted by David's non-stop screaming, they found a scene of madness. David was huddled in the corner, clutching the broken black ribbon, laughing and crying. "I cut it," he kept repeating. "I just wanted to see." Mama said to cut it. On the bed lay the body of Sarah. But it wasn't just a body. It was a corpse that looked like it had been dead for years. It was gray and dry. Her head was completely separated from her body. Around her neck was a scar, an old jagged scar from a machete wound. It was an injury that should have killed her 20 years ago during the war she had escaped. The villagers realized the truth too late. Sarah had been a spirit, or perhaps a woman who was kept alive by a powerful mercy, a second chance given to her by the gods, bound into a single black ribbon. She had lived on borrowed time. She had found love. She had found a home. And she would have lived a full, happy life with David if only he had trusted her. Mama Beatrice arrived at the house. When she saw the lying body of Sarah on the bed, she didn't gloat. She didn't celebrate. She collapsed. She saw the truth of her wickedness. Her suspicion had killed the only happiness her son ever had. David never recovered. He went mad. He wanders the market now, holding pieces of black string, asking women if he can tie it around their necks to save them. He tells everyone who listens, "Don't cut the ribbon. Don't open the door." Mama Beatrice died a month later, screaming that a python was strangling her in her sleep. So, my people, what is the moral of this tragedy? It is simple. Trust is the foundation of love. When you marry someone, you marry their past, and you marry their secrets. Do not let family pressure destroy your home. Do not let the whispers of outsiders make you doubt the person you sleep next to. And above all, remember this. Everyone has a survival story. Everyone has a scar that holds them together. Do not force people to reveal their wounds before they are healed. Because sometimes, the secret is the only thing keeping them alive. Curiosity killed the cat, but in this story, curiosity killed the wife and destroyed the husband. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to learn about trust. Until next time, keep your secrets safe and love with your eyes open.